Connor McDavid has just 2 goals through the first 12 games of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Going into tonight's opener of the Western Conference Final in Dallas against the Stars. Yes, he's still second in playoff scoring, but it's un-McDavid-like. To discuss that and much more, let's bring in Ryan Rishaug from Dallas. Schauger, the Kings and Canucks both did a nice job of slowing McDavid down and knocking him off his game. But now it looks like McDavid could be facing his biggest challenge of all, facing Chris Tanev. Tanev did a great job of shutting down Jack Eichel, did a great job of slowing down Nathan MacKinnon. Is this McDavid's biggest challenge in this playoff run?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge challenge, Gino. And by the way, they're doing some internal mic checks here, and someone's having a little fun. They're making like weird grunting and growling noises. So if you hear some weird stuff, we're in Texas, right? That kind of stuff just happens down here. But to your point, yeah, this is a huge challenge for Connor McDavid. And I mean, listen, this year he was primarily a setup guy, right? Like he had the big goal-scoring year last year, and then he had 8 goals in the playoffs. This year he's got 2 goals, but he's got a pile of assists. So he's still contributing, but goal scoring matters so much. And I think that's the point here. Can Connor McDavid contribute more in the goal scoring department? And I think that's fair. I think that's what they need from him, is more of that goal scoring mentality from him. So no question this is going to be a big challenge for him. I foresee it being a little bit different for him. He's not playing against the gigantic, tree-sized defenseman that the Vancouver Canucks had. There will be a little bit more room to maneuver out there, but some fantastic mobility in a player like Miro Heiskanen. Tanev did a great job, to your point, against other star players. So this is a big challenge. I will say, Gino, that a positive sign for McDavid's health, back in the Vancouver series between games, he wasn't skating either day. So he wouldn't skate on the off day and he wouldn't take the morning skates. He skated both of the last 2 days. He skated yesterday in practice at Edmonton and took a morning skate out here today, which tells me whether he was sick or there was an injury there. He's not skating in back-to-back days if there's anything wrong. So it looks to me like he's healthy and loaded for round 3.
Schauger, I love the way you give us these insights. I love this. I love this inside information. All right, so I want to talk about the fact that everybody's calling the Dallas Stars the favorite going in. Yes, they're the top seed in the West. I get that. But let's go back into the numbers. From the time that Chris Knobloch took over, the 6 months since then, the Edmonton Oilers have more wins. They have more points. I believe they've been the better team. I get the fact that the Stars have more depth. I get the fact the Stars have Jake Ottinger in net. They got the edge in net. But are you with me or against me? And I say the Oilers are the favorites in this series, not Dallas.
I'm against you, bud. I'm against you. Listen, I think that the depth up front is a big deal. Like you look at the Dallas Stars' third line. It's got Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin on it. I mean, goodness sakes, and Evgeny Dodonov as well. The Oilers have Ryan McLeod, Warren Foegele. They've combined for an empty net goal in these playoffs. And yes, they've driven possession. They've been good. The analytics on those players have been good. But you're down in the Final Four. You need players contributing. So I look at the Stars lineup and I look at lines 1 through 4 and I go, there are players who are going to contribute every night on all of those lines or who have the potential to. That's not the case with Edmonton. So I think depth-wise, they're in one here in terms of their forwards. Let's see how Skinner plays. If Stuart Skinner comes out and plays well and looks like he's found his game, then I think that changes the dynamic. But going in, Gino, you tell me, and I know we're going to talk about this, but can you call the Oilers favorites? Are you confident enough in understanding what they're going to get in net? Because while Skinner, he finished strong in the Vancouver series. He was okay, but really it's Ottinger-Skinner. One is so much more proven on this stage.
There's no doubt about that. Skinner's got an .888 save percentage, which is right around the save percentage he had last year when the Oilers decided at the end of the playoff run, we got to upgrade our goaltending because it's not good enough. Ottinger has been amazing. Only Shesterkin's got a better save percentage in the playoffs. I get that. But Ottinger hasn't faced the top 4 scorers in the playoffs this year who just happen to be all Edmonton Oilers. Schauger, I get the fact you're talking about depth, but if you want to look at the top of a lineup in terms of guys who score, in Zach Hyman, 11 goals through the first 12 games, this is an offense that the Dallas Stars have not seen so far in the playoffs. Fair. That's what I think.
Okay, so, and the power play obviously will tell a big tale, right? I mean, if the Oilers power play can be a really sharp weapon for them, then those big guys are going to get their
number one in the playoffs.
Sure. They are. For sure they are. The penalty kill's been fantastic too. But on the offense, so McDavid in 3 games against the Stars this year had 1 assist. right? And it's the regular season. I know it's different. This is playoffs, and they're writing a different chapter here. But the Stars have shown they have the formula. Heiskanen is a D-man that I think is really going to present a challenge. So I think McDavid's going to get his. I think Draisaitl's going to get his too. So I understand that aspect of it. But the only spot where I truly see advantage Edmonton clearly in this series is in special teams and in their top couple of offensive players. But I think it's going to require more than that in the Final Four. So it'll be fun to watch, bud. We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So the Edmonton Oilers, you're spoiled as a reporter who covers the Canadian hockey team because you're in the Western Conference. This is the second time you're in the Western Conference final in the last 3 years. But time is of the essence right now for Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the Oilers. Draisaitl's only got 1 year left on his current contract before he's got the ability to go UFA. Connor McDavid's got 2 years left. I know, Shogger, you've been dealing with this all year long. I understand that people are saying this is a terrific team that's just on the upswing. But how important is it for them to take one step further this year? They've never won a game, this group, with Connor McDavid in the Western Conference Final. How important is it for the future of the franchise that they take another step this year?
Sorry, Gino. We got mayhem happening in the building here. It's really important. It's really important. And now, I know you're talking about the contracts, right? Draisaitl and McDavid. And that conversation starts, we're already having it right now, but the minute the Oilers are done this year, the Draisaitl contract conversation begins because they can negotiate with him this upcoming year. So what's the likelihood that those two are going to stay Oilers long term? What's the likelihood they can thread the needle, and despite the fact their deals are finished a year apart, that they can get those guys done? You can't negotiate with them both at the same time. The conventional wisdom being if they win here and they show success here, that it's more likely that both guys will stay and want to be part of this. I honestly don't know that any of that's the case. Maybe they win a cup together this year and they're like, high five, great job, we'll see you in the summer, and maybe it is time for draw. I don't know if winning a cup together actually makes it more likely, less likely. We don't have those answers because we're trying to crawl into those guys' heads. Bottom line, they want to win, and they want an organization that supports them and puts them in position to win. Whether they win the Cup this year or not, or make it to the Stanley Cup final, Leon Draisaitl's best chance at winning a Stanley Cup in the next few seasons is probably going to be with Connor McDavid next to him. Where else is he going to go for that? So that's a whole nother debate for a whole nother day. I understand why Oiler fans are feeling the stress of that, but they're going to try and get it done this year. This is probably their best chance in terms of dollars on the cap to get it done, and we'll see. You're stressing Oiler fans out, Gino. You're stressing them out.
All right. No, I don't mean to do that at all. I'm trying to encourage them. And maybe you can give them some words of encouragement. Yes, the Dallas Stars have depth. They've got better depth than the Oilers, no doubt about that. When you get past the guys who are showing the way so far, Draisaitl, McDavid, and even Evan Bouchard, RNH has got 16 points so far. When you get past those guys who've been performing so far, is there somebody in the Oilers' depth that you'll be looking for that may step up and surprise the Dallas Stars by contributing in the Western Conference Final?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what Dylan Holloway can get done. And you say depth. I believe he's a depth player, but he's playing on the second line. He's playing with Leon Draisaitl right now and Evander Kane. I asked him about that today. What's it like having Leon Draisaitl as your center? And he's like, well, he's probably the best player I've ever played with. No kidding. But he loves it, right? Draisaitl is a wily veteran, and he's giving him little tips here and there along the way. He's encouraging him. Dylan Holloway has the speed to compete in any series. He's sneaky physical, right? He's kind of ho-hum out there, and all of a sudden, just bang, he'll just throw a huge hit. So he's got some physicality in his game. And Gino, the thing about Dylan Holloway is I'm not sure where his ceiling is, because the more he plays and the more positive things that he does, the more his confidence grows, and he just keeps doing more and more. Towards the tail end of that Vancouver series, he was making some skill plays and toe drags and feeds. You're going, whoa. So I'm really interested to see if the confidence continues to mount. He keeps playing with Leon Draisaitl, what he might be able to do. Bit of a dark horse, but I'm going to be watching him with a lot of interest.
Listen, great job by you, my friend, battling through the sound check there in Dallas. The stage is
Somebody
set.
was barking. He was literally going woof and barking over the microphones. Only in Dallas, buddy. First time I've ever heard anybody woofing on the mic.
Listen, brother, it's game day. You don't know what's going to happen. Game one of the Western Conference Final goes tonight, where Ryan Rishaug continues to insist that the Dallas Stars are the favorite, but Oiler fans, I believe in you. I believe the Oilers are the better team in this series, and we'll watch a lot unfold.